Hello, hello friends, welcome back to the series of lecture. This is the 27th lecture of this series of Indian Evidence Act. In this lecture, we would continue with section 9. Read it. Facts necessary to explain or introduce a fact. Fact necessary to explain or introduce a fact in issue. Introduce a fact in issue or relevant fact or which support or rebut an inference suggested by a fact in issue or relevant fact or which establish the identity of anything or person whose identity is relevant or fix the time or place at which any fact in issue or relevant fact happened or which show the relation of parties by whom any such fact was transacted are relevant in so far as they are necessary for that purpose. अब यहाँ they are again talking about certain facts which are relevant. अब उसको आप लिस्ट में ऐड कीजिएगा. तो जो लिस्ट बना रखी है उसको कंटिन्यू करते हैं. फर्स्ट इज fact necessary to explain or introduce. So first in this first is fact necessary to explain, and another is fact necessary to introduce. Introduce what? Fact in issue or relevant fact. Fact necessary to explain, fact in issue or relevant fact, or fact necessary to introduce, fact in issue or relevant fact. Then further they are saying a fact which support or rebut an inference. तो इसको भी ऐड कर लेते हैं. Facts which support or fact which rebut. Rebut what? An inference. An inference suggested by the fact in issue, etc. Then fact which establish the identity of who? A person or thing. Fact which establish the identity of some person or thing. Then they are saying the fact which fix the time or place. इसको भी लिख लेते हैं. The fact which fix the time and fact which fix the place. Fact which fix the time or place at which any fact in issue or relevant fact happened, or which shows the relation of parties by whom any such fact was transacted. So next here is relationship. Next element is relationship. So कितने fact हो गए यहाँ पर? 1 2 3 then 4 5 facts which establish the identity of person or thing. Person is fourth, thing is fifth, then time 6 7 and 8. अब ये 8 एलिमेंट्स और अर्लियर 9, 8 और 9 मिलाकर कितने हो गए? 17. तो सेक्शन 9 को मिलाकर आप 17 फैक्ट सीख जाओगे. जो 9 में वो भी आएगा एक्सपर्ट एविडेंसेस. So what I am trying to tell you is that one by one we will go to the sections and we will know what facts are relevant. So read it again. Facts necessary to explain or introduce. Fact necessary to explain or facts necessary to introduce a fact in issue or relevant fact, or which support or rebut an inference suggested by a fact in issue or relevant fact, with support or rebut, or which establish the identity of anything or person whose identity is relevant, or fix the time or place at which any fact in issue or relevant fact happened, or which shows the relation of parties by whom any such fact was transacted, are relevant insofar as they are necessary for that purpose. So these are some facts which they are declaring to be relevant. अब सबको एक साथ हम कवर नहीं कर सकते, so we would see them one by one. इसमें सबसे पहले we would cover the identity, then relationship. अब इसमें ही काफी टाइम लगेगा because in identity the TIP we have to discuss, test identification parade. Then we will get into relationship, और relationship के साथ हम पढ़ेंगे conclusive proof, all that, फिर expert evidence, then time place, कहाँ पे घटना हुई, कितने बजे हुई, तो ये सब भी expert evidence से related होगा. Not always, but in several times that जैसे डीएनए टेस्टिंग वगैरह के लिए साइंटिफिक एविडेंसेस की जरूरत पड़ेगी। एंड आइडेंटिटी में भी साइंटिफिक एविडेंसेस आ सकता है, जैसे कोई व्यक्ति मर गया, उसका डेड बॉडी नहीं मिला और फिर अचानक से एक डेड बॉडी मिलती है और वो डिस्ट्रॉय हो चुकी है काफी हद तक, देन हाउ वुड बी इट बी आइडेंटिफाई? तो द डीएनए टेस्टिंग की जरूरत पड़ेगी। जैसे उसके फैमिली या उसके पेरेंट्स वगैरह का किसी का डीएनए ले लो और डेड बॉडी के बोन नैरो में से डीएनए निकाल लो और दोनों को मैच करके देखो। इफ इट इज मैचिंग, दैट मीन्स ही इज रिलेटेड टू दैट फैमिली। तो उस तरीके से आप आइडेंटिटी एस्टेब्लिश कर सकते हो। सो वन बाय वन वी वुड डिस्कस each of these elements. So first of all, see identity, this fact identity element. So talk about identity. Identity of what? Identity of person or identity of thing. Mainly our focus is on identity of person. It is important for the exam purposes, and in this particularly the concept of TIP, and it is called test identification parade. जैसे कोई व्यक्ति गिरफ्तार होता है तो उसका टीआईपी करवाया जाता है। एक बार फिर से आप सेक्शन का लैंग्वेज पढ़िए फॉर द टीआईपी वाला पार्ट। तो इधर से पढ़िए फैक्ट्स, फैक्ट्स, इसके बाद इधर से जंप करिए इस पार्ट पर, टीआईपी वाले पे। फैक्ट्स विच एस्टेब्लिश द आइडेंटिटी ऑफ एनीथिंग और पर्सन हुज आइडेंटिटी इज रेलिवेंट। इसके बाद क्या होगा? आर रेलिवेंट इन सो फार एज दे आर नेसेसरी फॉर दैट पर्पस। ये एक सेंटेंस आप लिख लो, ब्रेकअप सेंटेंस। फैक्ट्स विच एस्टेब्लिश द आइडेंटिटी ऑफ एनीथिंग और person. Facts which establish the identity of person or thing whose identity is relevant, comma, are relevant in so far as they are necessary for that purpose. For that purpose means what? For the purpose of establishing the identity. For the purpose of establishing the identity. So facts which establish the identity of person or thing whose identity is relevant. मतलब उस व्यक्ति के या वस्तु के आइडेंटिटी जो रेलिवेंट है इस केस में, तो हर वो तथ्य जो उस व्यक्ति की या वस्तु की आइडेंटिटी को एस्टेब्लिश करे, all those facts will be relevant in so far as they are necessary for establishing that identity. Now, for example, say you are having some mobile phone and you have lost it, or someone have stolen it. Now, police conduct certain raids and police recovers the mobile phone. पुलिस ने एक रेड में एक्यूज से बहुत सारे मोबाइल फोन रिकवर किए। पुलिस अरेस्टेड द एक्यूज्ड एंड रिकवर्ड द सेवरल मोबाइल फोन्स फ्रॉम द एक्यूज्ड। नाउ हाउ विल यू आइडेंटिफाई योर मोबाइल फोन? वो पूछेंगे ना पहले आपसे कि तुम्हारा मोबाइल फोन कौन सा है। तो एक तरीका तो ये होता है कि उस मोबाइल फोन का ईएमआई नंबर, क्योंकि आपके पास बिल होगी, उसमें भी रहता है, बॉक्स ऑफ फोन में भी रहता है, तो आप उससे मैचिंग करा लेंगे। अब मान लो ऐसा कुछ आपके पास है नहीं, या ईएमआई नंबर या फिर बिल आपका खो गया है, देन हाउ विल यू आइडेंटिफाई? अब मान लो उसमें कोई कॉन्टैक्ट नंबर वगैरह आपके सेव थे उसमें, उससे मैच करके देख लो, या फिर कोई मार्क वगैरह हो उस फोन पे, वही गिर गया था आपसे कहीं, तो उसका उधर से ब्रोकन है, सम पेक्यूलर कोई थिंग या मार्क उसमें है, तो उससे आइडेंटिफाई करोगे आप। तो उसी तरीके से कोई भी अदर थिंग भी आप देख सकते हो, तो कुछ ना कुछ पेक्यूलियरिटी होती है और सब व्यक्ति को उसके बारे में पता होता है, अपनी चीज के बारे में। सो बाय दैट यू विल आइडेंटिफाई दैट थिंग। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, कोई अगर सोने की चीज है, गोल्ड आर्टिकल, तो उसमें कहाँ का मेड है, उस पर कोई उस ज्वेलर्स का मार्क है, इस तरीके की है, कोई निशान वगैरह है, तो उससे आप आइडेंटिफाई करोगे कितने वजन की थी, So thing को identify करना is like that. Some peculiar feature in this thing which can be identified. अब मान लो आपका बेयर एक्ट कोई चोरी कर लेता है. जब किसी ने बेयर एक्ट ले लिया तो how can you identify your bear act? Maybe you have written your name, number, address. Maybe you have written certain things. Your handwriting can be used to identify. So in that way you can identify the things. Now talk about the identification of person. अब एक व्यक्ति को आप कैसे पहचानोगे? How will you identify a person? So बहुत सारे तरीके हैं. So some basic points in this are TIP तो डिटेल टॉपिक है. So इसमें कुछ basic points हैं. Let's see. अब suppose you have to identify a person and you have met a person only once. Suppose उससे एक ही बार मिले हो तुम, but his voice is very peculiar. You talk to him and his voice is very peculiar. So can we use the voice to identify him? मान लो if you are able to hear the voice of that person again, अगर दोबारा तुमको उस व्यक्ति की आवाज सुनने को मिल जाए, then can you identify him on the basis of voice? Answer is yes. अगर आप याददाश्त इतनी तेज है. अब दो लोगों का वॉइस एक तरीके का हो सकता है, so it cannot be a strong identification, but yes, that can be used for identify. अब उसी तरीके से suppose if a person is having a scar on his face, एक व्यक्ति के फेस पर एक यहाँ पर स्कार है. अब मान लो किसी व्यक्ति के पैर पर गोली लगी थी और वो लंगड़ा कर चलता है, तो उसके चलने का तरीका होगा जो, तो कैन यू आइडेंटिफाई दैट पर्सन बाय वे ऑफ वॉकिंग? यस. अब उसी प्रकार से मान लो कोई व्यक्ति क्राइम करके भाग रहा था और उसके पुलिस ऑफिसर उसके पीछे था. पुलिस ऑफिसर ने उसके थाई पर गोली मारी, पैर पर गोली मारी, वो बुलेट लगी उसके थाई पर, एंड later on he was arrested, and the question was that whether he was the one who was running away on that day, and there is a blood mark on the thigh which is shown that he is one who was running on that day. तो उसी प्रकार से आप कुछ भी एग्जाम्पल सोच सकते हैं. सपोज इफ ए पर्सन इज एक्सट्रीमली टॉल, जिससे 7 फुट का कोई व्यक्ति, एंड ही इज वेरी लिन एंड थिन एंड वेरी टॉल, तो उस हाइट के लोग तो बहुत कम होंगे. अब किसी ने उस हाइट के व्यक्ति को देखा था, तो कैन यू आइडेंटिफाई हिम ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ हिज हाइट? जब you are identifying, but it is not a very strong kind of identification, but at least identification can be done on that basis. Similarly, if a man is very strong and his body structure is such that he is very unique, so can you identify him on that basis? The answer is yes. You can identify him on the basis of some peculiar characteristics which is particular to that character, and you had seen that characteristic, and now you are identifying that person on that basis, on that characteristic. So that is one method of identifying a person. अब एक क्वेश्चन अरोज होता है कि आइडेंटिफिकेशन की जरूरत क्यों पड़ेगी? वाई आइडेंटिफिकेशन इज रिक्वायर्ड? अब सपोज ए कमिटेड अ मर्डर ऑफ बी, ए कमिटेड एन ऑफेंस, murder of B, and there was C who was standing there, and he saw that A committed murder, who is hiding somewhere, and he saw that A committed murder. Now C does not know A from before. C पहले से A को नहीं जानता, and C does not see the face of A. C A का चेहरा नहीं देख पाया. He could see his body. So he could see his body, or suppose he could recognize his voice, etc. और A C A की बॉडी देख पाया, या फिर maybe he was able to see the scar on his body या face. He could hear the voice of A, and so forth. Now suppose later on A is arrested, then he is presented to identify whether he is the one who committed the offense अब now she tell the police officer that I had not seen him, but I know certain features on the basis of which I can do the identification. तो ये भी एक आइडेंटिफिकेशन का तरीका है, बट दैट इज अ वेरी स्मॉल पीस ऑफ एविडेंस बिकॉज शेप के बेसिस पर आइडेंटिफिकेशन नहीं होता. बट सपोज इन द सेम एग्जाम्पल शी हैड एक्चुअली सीन द फेस ऑफ ए and on the basis of that he identifies A. So this is what is called TIP. जब किसी विक्टिम ने या विटनेस ने एक्यूज्ड का चेहरा देखा था, वो पहले से नहीं जानता उसको, he does not know him from before. अब later on when the accused is arrested and when he is brought before this witness and witness is able to recall by seeing his face and he is able to identify him. तो ये जो प्रोसेस है, the process by which the identification is done, that process is what is called the process of TIP, Test Identification Parade. Is that fine? अब इसी को आपको समझना है और मुझे समझाना है कि देखो दो तरीके से आइडेंटिफिकेशन होगा. अब पहले तो ये देखो आपको कॉन्टेक्स्ट समझ में आया कि नहीं. एक एक्यूज ने क्राइम किया है और वो क्राइम कर कर भाग गया और बाद में गिरफ्तार हुआ. अब उसको पहचानोगे कैसे कि उसी ने क्राइम किया है? हाउ विल यू आइडेंटिफाई हिम? इफ देयर इज अ विटनेस हु इज सीन दैट कमिटिंग द क्राइम, then that witness has to identify him. And the process of getting the accused identified by the witness, the process of getting the accused identified by the witness is what is called the process of test identification parade. अब ये दो तरीके से हो सकता है. पहले तो कि that accused known by the witness, या फिर witness known the accused. Witness पहले से accused को जानता है. And the other is when the witness does not know the accused. अब suppose you know some person committing the crime. आपका कोई क्लासमेट है, बैचमेट है, या फिर नेबर है, फ्रेंड है, he has committed the crime. So anyone known person has committed the crime somewhere. And since you know him, तो कल को अगर आपसे पूछा जाए that who committed the crime, then what will you say? That particular person, उसका नाम वगैरह बताओगे आप, एड्रेस वगैरह कि that person done the crime. अगर एड्रेस पता है तो एड्रेस भी बता दोगे आप, मतलब पूरी डिटेल जो भी पता है आपको सब बताओगे. नाम पता है तो नाम बताओगे because you know him. वो जितनी भी डिटेल बताओगे उससे पता पड़ेगा कि that you know him. तो इस वाली सिचुएशन में आपको इस तरीके से पहचानने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी कि आप उसको मेरे सामने लाओ तब मैं उसको पहचानूंगा, बिकॉज यू ऑलरेडी नो हिम. तो अगर आपने किसी को जानकार को क्राइम करते हुए देखा तो आप उसको उसके नाम से बता दोगे कि उसने क्राइम किया. लेकिन सपोज आपने किसी एक्स को क्राइम करते हुए देखा और उसको आप जानते नहीं हो. यू हैव सीन एक्स कमिटिंग द क्राइम बट यू हैव नॉट सीन हिम बिफोर. Then how will you identify? You cannot say that X committed the crime, क्योंकि आप उसको जानते ही नहीं हो. So in that situation, you will tell the police that if you arrest him and bring before me, and then I can recall my memory when you brought him before me. I will recall my memory and then I will identify him. So इसमें से ये वाला जो identification होता है, where you know the criminal already from before, that will be called the testimonial identification, testimonial or direct identification. और ये दूसरे वाला है, that is called the circumstantial identification. The first one is called the testimonial or direct identification and the second one is called the circumstantial identification. अब TIP किस सिचुएशन में होगा, इसमें या इसमें? TIP फर्स्ट वाली सिचुएशन में कभी नहीं करेंगे. TIP is always done in the second one. क्योंकि अगर आप पहले से किसी व्यक्ति को जानते हो तो you will tell the name of that person, तो उसके बाद आइडेंटिफिकेशन कराने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. But if you do not know him from earlier, then it will be required that the accused will be arrested and he shall be brought before you and he shall be identified by you when they are brought before you. That is where the TIP is done. So we have to discuss the TIP और TIP का context है that is called circumstantial identification. Now suppose A is committing the offense against B, and while he is committing the offense, there was some C who saw him. But C does not know him from before, but in certain circumstances in that he seems A having committing the offense. And the identity of the accused is a relevant fact, because unless you identify the accused, how will you try and how will you convict him if you had not identified the accused? And therefore the identity of the accused is very important fact, so that has to be established. क्योंकि जब तक आप accused की identity establish नहीं करोगे, unless you know who is the accused, now you will conduct the trial. Now suppose a murder is committed, then the police officer starts the investigation, and somewhere he comes to know, the police officer comes to know that there is one C who was present on the spot. So C tells the police officer that I have seen A committing the offense, but I do not know him. But if he was brought before me, I will recall. On the basis of my memory, I will recognize him. In this situation, C is a very important witness. He will be called a star witness. Star witness, why? Because he is an eyewitness. Eyewitness is called star witness. अब ध्यान दीजिएगा, when the trial starts, at the trial, this C will appear as a prosecution witness. C trial में prosecution witness बनकर appear होगा on behalf of the prosecution. For what? For the purpose of establishing the identity of A, accused. अब in the court he will give testimony on oath. अब कोर्ट में क्या होता है, there are many people standing, accused will also stand there. उसके साथ पुलिस वाले होंगे, lawyers होंगे, और भी काफी लोग होंगे. Many people are there in the open court who are standing there, and the court will ask him in the court only to the witness. अब accused को accused वाले बॉक्स में खड़ा नहीं करेंगे उस टाइम, अलग से सबके बीच में खड़ा कर दिया जाएगा. And then he will be asked, the witness will be asked that whom you will see committing the crime. And if he say that, since he said that I do not know him, I can recognize him, then the court will ask him that can you identify any person amongst them. क्योंकि उसने ये कहा कि भाई कोर्ट के पूछने पर मैं उसको पहचान सकता हूँ, मैं वैसे तो जानता नहीं हूँ पर्सनली. कोर्ट पूछेगा उससे कि तुम इन लोगों में खड़े इनमें से पहचान सकते हो कौन था वो. That do you recognize the accused? Is he present in the court? And then here the C witness will be given the time to look one by one present into the court, and then he realizes that A is standing. अब उस टाइम A को नॉर्मली रखा जाएगा, ऐसा नहीं A को हाथ में हथकड़ी लगा के रखा है. He will be kept normally so that there is no distinct mark upon A. So out of the crowd, C will identify A, and the C will say that he is the one who he had seen committing the crime. Ab, in the case if there are other circumstantial evidences against the A and he is also identified by the C, and when the chain of circumstantial evidences are completed, then he will be convicted. तो सिर्फ आइडेंटिफिकेशन पर कन्विक्ट नहीं होगा, circumstantial evidences देखे जाएंगे, and the chain is complete. If the chain is complete, and if his identity is also established by C, then he will be convicted into the case. अब the problem is, इसको आप TIP नहीं बोलते, mind you. अभी जो मैंने एग्जाम्पल बताया that is not considered under TIP. That is only the identification of the accused in the court by the witness. Now the problem is कि किसी भी मैटर में टीआईपी क्यों करते हैं, ये मैंने आपको बताने की कोशिश की है। The problem is that in any matter when this trial takes place, तो ये ट्रायल 2 दिन में तो शुरू नहीं होगा। पहले इन्वेस्टिगेशन होगा, चार्जशीट लगेगा, देन देयर आफ्टर ट्रायल, फिर उसके भी पहले framing of charge and all those things will be done. So trial takes a lot of time to start. It took several months. अब बहुत फास्ट होगा तब भी 6 महीने 4 महीने, और ट्रायल में प्रोसिक्यूशन के विटनेस का एविडेंस आने में तो और भी टाइम लग जाएगा. It may take 1 year or 2 years also. अब the problem is how this C still remember A to have committed the offense when he has seen him only for a while at the time when the offense was committed. That is a logical question कि C को उसका चेहरा आज भी याद है 2 साल बाद या 3 साल बाद, whatever time when he bring into the court, जबकि तुमने उसको 1-2 साल पहले देखा था और बहुत थोड़े समय के लिए देखा था। वहां पर द क्वेश्चन वॉज रेज्ड बाय द डिफेंस अपॉन द मेमोरी ऑफ सी, क्योंकि काफी समय बीत गया और हम डेली बहुत लोगों से मिलते हैं, तो क्या हमको सारे लोगों के फेसेस याद रहते हैं? द आंसर इज नो. बट व्हेन आई सॉ अ पर्सन committing the offense, that is a peculiar circumstance, and therefore maybe I remember him because I saw him committing that offense, but still that long the memory is not sharp. So in order to avoid that confusion, what the police people do is, the moment she tells to the police officer that I can identify the accused, the moment A is arrested, जैसे ही A arrest हुआ, as soon as possible उसका आप TIP करवा देते हैं. TIP मतलब टेस्ट आइडेंटिफिकेशन परेड, in which the witness will make a statement that he is the one who I am seen committing the offense. अब मान लो आज क्राइम हुआ है, उसके 5 दिन 10 दिन 20 दिन के अंदर एक्यूज्ड गिरफ्तार हुआ और गिरफ्तारी के बाद आपने अपने एक्यूज्ड का आइडेंटिफिकेशन विटनेस पे करवा दिया एंड यू मेक अ रिकॉर्ड ऑफ दैट, सो दैट becomes a statement of the witness regarding the identity of the accused. Now tomorrow in the court when you appear, tomorrow मतलब पहली बार, in the trial to recognize A, and then he identifies that he is the person who has committed the offense, then that statement becomes a corroborative piece of evidence, and that is corroborated by the testimony he gives into the court. 157 Evidence Act में that is used in the as a corroborating evidence, कि पहले मैंने इसको आइडेंटिफाई किया था और आज मीन्स पहले जो विटनेस है उसने आइडेंटिफाई किया था कोर्ट में, और आज विटनेस इसको आइडेंटिफाई कर रहा है, और बाद में जब आर्गुमेंट्स होंगे तो बोला जाएगा कि पहले भी किया था आइडेंटिफाई और उसके बाद भी कोर्ट में इसने आइडेंटिफाई किया सेम को, तो उस ऑफेंस से लेकर उसको कुछ दिन बाद भी आइडेंटिफाई कर चुका है, 2 बार आइडेंटिफाई कर चुका कोर्ट में, एंड देयरफॉर दैट आइडेंटिफिकेशन विल सपोर्ट योर आइडेंटिफिकेशन दैट यू मेक इन द कोर्ट, सो योर टेस्टिमनी इन द कोर्ट बिकम्स स्ट्रॉन्ग, क्योंकि आज से पहले भी वही स्टेटमेंट दिया जा चुका है. So the purpose of TIP is to create a corroborating piece of evidence, to support that the witness will make in the court, and therefore at the time of conducting the TIP, the police officer will take all precautions which will make this TIP का statement a strong corroborating evidence for the testimony in the court. अगर सिंपल भाषा में बोलें तो जैसे आज मैंने आपको देखा है, अगर आप दोबारा मेरे सामने आ जाओ तो जल्दी से जल्दी आप मेरे सामने आ जाओ, क्योंकि मेरी मेमोरी अभी फ्रेश है, और जब आपको मेरे सामने लाया जाए और मैं इस बात को लिख लिया जाए कि मैंने आपको ही पहचाना था, और फिर बाद में 2 साल बाद या 1.5 साल बाद 1 साल बाद कोर्ट में खड़े होकर मैं बयान दूं कि यही था, तो उस समय जब मैं बोलूंगा कि यही था, तो उस समय जो मेरा पहले वाला स्टेटमेंट था वो सामने आएगा कि मैंने पहले भी इसी को पहचाना था. So that will support my statements made into the court, and that will corroborate my statement tomorrow. And that is what is called corroborating piece of evidence under section 157 of Evidence Act. Now you see, when you take this identification at the time of investigation, you are not actually creating a piece of substantive evidence. सब्सटेंटिव पीस ऑफ एविडेंस तो वो होगा जो कोर्ट में खड़े होकर ओथ पर बयान दोगे, वो होगा सब्सटेंटिव पीस ऑफ एविडेंस. व्हेन द सेम विटनेस अपीयर्स इनटू द कोर्ट. अब ऐसा नहीं है कि टीआईपी के बाद कोर्ट में अपीयर नहीं होना पड़ेगा. टीआईपी इज द इन्वेस्टिगेशन का पार्ट. टीआईपी इज द पार्ट ऑफ इन्वेस्टिगेशन, बट अल्टीमेटली ही हैव टू अपीयर इनटू द कोर्ट एज अ काइंड ऑफ आइडेंटिफिकेशन. अगर मान लो वो कोर्ट में अपीयर ही नहीं होता, सी डेड when the trial starts, then the TIP is useless. TIP can be used only for corroborating the testimony made by the witness in the court on oath. It is only for just creating the corroboration. So कल को आप जब कोर्ट में बयान दोगे कि हाँ इसी को मैंने देखा था, तो कोर्ट में आप दोबारा पहचानोगे. ऐसा नहीं होगा कि ऐसे पूछा जाएगा कि क्या आपने इसको ही देखा था. इस तरीके से नहीं पूछा जाएगा. उसको इसी तरीके से पूछा जाएगा कि कोर्ट में खड़े करके आप लोगों को और पूछा जाएगा कि क्या जिसको आपने देखा था वो कोर्ट में है, प्रेजेंट है. तो आप पूरे कोर्ट में नजर डालोगे, तो वो कोर्ट की मर्जी है कि कोर्ट अगर चाहे तो एक्यूज्ड को किसी कोने में और लोगों के साथ खड़ा कर दे, चाहे तो कोर्ट उसको ऑडियंस में खड़ा कर दे या बैठा दे और पूछेगा कि क्या इसमें एक्यूज्ड है. और फिर भी अगर आपने उसको आइडेंटिफाई कर लिया ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ हिज मेमोरी, देन इफ देयर इज सम डाउट रिगार्डिंग द आइडेंटिफिकेशन, अगर उस समय कोई डाउट क्रिएट हो जाता है इन आइडेंटिफिकेशन, देन द प्रीवियस आइडेंटिफिकेशन that is done into the TIP that will used to corroborate your identification that you made into the court. तो कोर्ट को अगर कोई डाउट होता है उस समय 1.5 साल या साल भर के बाद आइडेंटिफिकेशन में कि भाई इसकी मेमोरी इतनी स्ट्रांग कैसे हो सकती है, तो उस पुरानी वाली टीआईपी को कॉरोबरेट करने के लिए कोर्ट यूज कर सकती है और इसको स्ट्रांग पीस ऑफ एविडेंस की तरह यूज कर लेगी. क्योंकि अदरवाइज ऑल्सो कॉरोबरेशन के बाद तो आपका जो टेस्टिमनी होगी वो स्ट्रांग हो जाएगी एविडेंस. सो द टीआईपी इज ओनली अ पीस ऑफ कॉरोबरेटिंग एविडेंस to corroborate the testimony of identification made on oath by the witness in the court. So write down the witness who saw the accused committing the offense, the witness who saw the accused committing the offense, comma, if he did not know the accused from before, can identify the accused on the basis of his memory. Such identification has to be made by him at the stage of trial in the open court on oath. Full stop. Here, since identification is made on oath, the testimony will be admissible, but there may be a long time gap between the occurrence and the court testimony, and therefore doubt may be raised regarding the identification by questioning the memory of witness. Here, if the prosecution can produce some previous statement of the witness regarding the identification, then the testimony in the court can become a strong testimony due to corroboration by the previous statement of identification under Section 157 Indian Evidence Act. Such previous statements can be used for corroboration purposes. Next para. It is for the above purposes that the test identification parade test identification parade is conducted at the stage of investigation by the investigating authorities. तो ये इशू हमने डिस्कस कर लिया, टीआईपी क्यों करवाते हैं, दैट वी हैव एक्सप्लेन्ड. अब टीआईपी कैसे होगा, दैट वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. अब इसमें कुछ स्मॉल इश्यूज हैं, जैसे एक्यूज्ड एज ए मैटर ऑफ राइट टीआईपी कंडक्ट करवा सकता है. जैसे मान लो एक्यूज्ड को पकड़ लिया है, अब वो बोल रहा है कि मैं नहीं हूँ एक्यूज्ड और मेरा टीआईपी करवाओ, तो वो क्या एज ए मैटर ऑफ राइट हो सकता है? आंसर इज नो. तो दैट इज टोटली डिपेंड अपॉन द इन्वेस्टिगेटिंग अथॉरिटीज. टीआईपी कंडक्ट करवाएंगे या नहीं करवाएंगे वो उनकी मर्जी है. एक्यूज्ड एज मैटर ऑफ राइट नहीं कह सकता लेट द टीआईपी बी कंडक्टेड. तो ना तो एक्यूज्ड डिमांड कर सकता, ना विटनेस डिमांड कर सकता. हाँ, अगर आई विटनेस के होते हुए भी इन्वेस्टिगेटिंग अथॉरिटीज ने टीआईपी नहीं करवाया, then question mark always be raised regarding the role of the investigating authorities. So a reasonable person who is conducting the investigation will always go for TIP because he knows that it is a very important piece of evidence to corroborate the testimony which would be made into the court later on. Now write down next paragraph. TIP has to be conducted as soon as possible. TIP has to be conducted as soon as possible after the accused has been arrested. That is, it has to be conducted while the memory of the witness is still fresh. अब हम इसके बाद देखेंगे गाइडलाइंस रिगार्डिंग टीआईपी. अब देखो, आप टीआईपी का पर्पस तो समझ गए. द टीआईपी का पर्पस इज the statement of the witness is regarding the identification, so that the tomorrow when the witness appears into the court and identify the accused, then the previous statement of the witness can be used for corroboration. Now, who conduct the investigation? The police officer. Now, you must know that 162 CRP clearly says that any statement is made to a police officer in the course of investigation. If a statement is made to a police officer in the course of investigation, then that statement will be used for, cannot be used for any purpose. Cannot be used for any purpose except the purposes which are allowed. And out of them, one is dying declaration, then other is discovery statement, and third is if the witness is prosecution witness, then the defense can use the statements to contradict the witness. So इन तीन यूजेस को छोड़कर और किसी भी तरीके का यूज इसमें नहीं हो सकता. So इसके अलावा और कोई यूज नहीं होगा इन स्टेटमेंट्स का which are given to police officers in the investigation. Suppose I make a statement to the police officer in the course of investigation. Now tomorrow that statement that I made to the police officer, that to be used by the prosecution for any evidentiary purpose, then it will not be allowed, excepting these. One is dying declaration, two is discovery statement, and three is when the prosecution witness came, then the prosecution cannot use these statements, but the defense can use it for the purpose of contradicting the witness in the court. The prosecution can also use it, but only in one situation, that when the witness turns hostile. So उसकी ट्रस्टवर्दी को इम्पीच करने के लिए प्रोसिक्यूशन उसका इस्तेमाल कर सकता है. बट हमको यहाँ पर ये समझना है क्या उस स्टेटमेंट का कोऑपरेटिव एविडेंस की तरह इस्तेमाल हो सकता है. तो उसका आंसर ये है कि सेक्शन 162 कहता है कि उसका किसी भी तरीके का इस्तेमाल नहीं होगा. It will not be used for any purpose. That statement will not be used for any purpose except these three purposes: contradiction, discovery statement and dying declaration. इसमें corroboration तो नहीं लिखा कहीं पे भी. So when the question raised that can these statements be used for corroboration, answer is no. And therefore, suppose today police officer conducted the TIP and I am the witness in this, and I tell the police officer that he is the person who committed the offense. Then the police officer will record its statement, investigation is going on, and the statement will be recorded in the course of investigation. Now tomorrow I appear in the court and I identify the witness in that accused in the court. And there, if the prosecution seeks to use my statements to corroborate statements into the court, then whether that statement would be allowed? The answer is no. Why? Why? Because that statement was made by me in the course of investigation to the police officer. So here 162 will apply, 160 of 62 of CRPC will apply, and it is clearly written in that then that those statements made to in the course of investigation to police officer cannot be used for corroborative purposes. इसीलिए पुलिस ऑफिसर जब उनको टीआईपी करवाना होगा, when they have to get the TIP conducted, when they have to conduct the TIP, तो वो खुद नहीं करवाएंगे. They will call the judicial magistrate or call the executive magistrate. जैसे दिल्ली में तो TIP judicial magistrate के सामने होता है. But in other states, the TIP will be conducted also before the executive magistrate. So the judicial magistrate or the executive magistrate will present and police officer will go out of the room. मान लो एक कमरे में अगर TIP हो रहा है तो पुलिस ऑफिसर्स को हटा दिया जाएगा वहां पे. मान लो अगर एक कमरे में हो रहा है आपका TIP, तो one by one they will be called and you will be asked that whether this is the person who has done the offense. और जब विटनेस आइडेंटिफाई कर लेगा उनमें से जिसने भी ऑफेंस किया, अगर एक ने किया तो एक को, या फिर एक से ज्यादा ने किया तो उनको आइडेंटिफाई कर लिया, तो वहां पर जुडिशियल और एग्जीक्यूटिव मजिस्ट्रेट विल टेक द सिग्नेचर एक्सेट्रा, और विटनेसेस भी वहां पर प्रेजेंट होंगे, तो विटनेसेस का भी सिग्नेचर लिया जाएगा कि मैंने उसको आइडेंटिफाई किया था. अब ये जो होगा आइडेंटिफिकेशन, इसमें ये जो 162 वाला इफेक्ट है ये हट जाएगा, क्योंकि इसमें कोर्स ऑफ इन्वेस्टिगेशन में तो स्टेटमेंट जरूर दिया है मैंने, लेकिन किसको दिया? पुलिस ऑफिसर को तो नहीं दिया मैंने. इस वजह से 162 का बार हट जाएगा और देयरफॉर टुमारो इट कैन बी यूज्ड फॉर द corroboration purposes. So that is the first safeguard we have to understand, and that is that the TIP should be conducted before the judicial or executive magistrate and not before the police officer. So write it down. The TIP if conducted before the police officer in the course of investigation, then the statement will be hit by 162 CRPC. Then the statement will be hit by section 162 CRPC and cannot be used for corroboration purposes. Therefore, the safeguard that has to be applied is that the TIP shall be conducted in the presence of judicial or the executive magistrate, and the police officer should not be present there. Such a statement was not made to police officer in the course of investigation, and hence it will not be hit by section 162 CRPC and can be used for corroboration at the ट्रायल स्टेज. तो ये आपका पहला पॉइंट था, मेन पॉइंट. अब देखो व्हाट हैपेंड इज, मैंने मान लो एक्यूज्ड को क्राइम करते देखा, अब कुछ समय बाद एक्यूज्ड हैज बीन अरेस्टेड एंड पुलिस सस्पेक्ट्स हिम टू बी एक्यूज्ड. उसको अरेस्ट कर लिया ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ सस्पेशन. अब देयर आफ्टर दे हैव टू इन्वेस्टिगेट, दे हैव टू एग्जामिन हिम. अब एट द सेम टाइम द पुलिस ऑफिसर्स आल्सो अवेयर that there is a witness who had seen the accused, so as soon as possible they did the TIP conducted. अब एक और प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है उसमें. अब मान लो किसी एक्यूज्ड को पुलिस ने गिरफ्तार किया और TIP में पुलिस ऑफिसर्स देर कर रहे हैं, अब दूसरी तरफ एक्यूज्ड को बेल मिल गई, एक्यूज्ड बेल के बाद फ्री होकर घूम रहा है। अब वहां पर अगर अब टीआईपी करवाओगे तो वहां पर एक शब्द अलग से होगा कि शायद मैंने देख लिया था उसको बाहर, इसलिए पहचान रहा हूं। और जबकि मेरा मेमोरी कहाँ से रिफ्रेश होना चाहिए, माई मेमोरी वुड बी रिलेट बैक टू द इंसिडेंट। तो मेरा मेमोरी दैट शुड बी रिलेट बैक डायरेक्टली टू द इंसिडेंट at the point of time when the offense was committed. Meanwhile, I meet him again. So obviously, I based my memory for identification upon not on the original incident, but on the incident when I saw him again. And therefore, you will see the TIP should be conducted as soon as possible because there are chances of accused to be leaved on bail always be there, and there are chances that the witness seen the accused outside anywhere. अब एक और बात कि whenever these accused are arrested and there is a witness who will identify these accused, then the police will always cover the face of the accused. तो ये जो काला कपड़ा पहना के ले जाते हैं accused का, ये किस लिए ले जाते हैं? तो ये इस वजह से पहना कर ले जाते हैं, not for the shame of the accused, but for the purpose, because in the present scenario some photographer, some journalist click out the photo or make the video and release it on the TV. अब मान लो उस accused को गिरफ्तार कर लिया। अब पुलिस कई बार ये गलती करती है, कई बार ये जानबूझकर गलती करते हैं। कई बार क्या होता है कि there is a heinous crime committed and there is eye witness to the offense, जैसे निर्भया केस वाले केस में हुआ। अब प्रेस ने तो उनका चेहरा पब्लिश नहीं किया था, लेकिन किसी फोटोग्राफर ने फोटो खींच लिया था सबका और फेसबुक पे तो वायरल हो गया था सोशल मीडिया पर। अब दिस फ्रेंड ऑफ द गर्ल, if he identifies these, there always a question mark will be raised that he not identify them on the basis of the incident, but on the basis of whatever they are on the Facebook social media. And therefore the police has to take special precautions when they arrest the accused whose TIP has to be conducted. Means there is an eyewitness to the accused, then in that case the police should always ensure that the face of the accused is not visible in the public, and the press also should ensure that if someone has taken the photograph, then they did not publish the photograph. And the reason being, otherwise the value of the TIP is dropped, otherwise the value of the TIP is lost. And if the value of the TIP is lost, then the identification in the court, the value of the identification in the court will also be lost. So that is another important precaution, that since the identification has to be made directly on the basis of the original scene of crime, so in between the witness should not be allowed to see the accused again, and therefore the authorities ensure that the accused is not visible in public. So write it down, this point. The investigating authorities should ensure that the accused is not seen in public after the arrest, as in that case the accused may be seen by the witness, and upon identification it may be alleged that the witness recalls the accused not on the basis of his original memory, rather on the basis of the sight the accused that he has had later. The sight the accused that he has had later. So उसके लिए आपको accused का चेहरा ढक के रखना चाहिए, पब्लिक में उसका चेहरा अपीयर नहीं होना चाहिए, चेहरा देखना नहीं चाहिए पब्लिक में. Now write one more point. The accused does not have a right to ask for TIP, nor can a victim insist that the TIP shall be conducted. It is the sole prerogative. Prerogative means discretion. It is the sole prerogative of prerogative of investigating authority to get the TIP done or not. Investigating authority to get the TIP done or not. So up to now we have seen 3 safeguards up to second and third this. Now write down the 4th safeguard. The accused at the time of TIP should be mixed with the sufficient number of people so that the identification is made slightly difficult for the witness. The accused should be mixed with the others in the ratio of 10:1 or 9:1, and the others should be broadly of the same physical structure as the accused. Same physical structure मतलब height, thickness, complexion. So that should be comparatively एक जैसे होने चाहिए. अब एकदम सेम तो नहीं ला सकते, बट लगभग सेम होने चाहिए, so that the accused को पहचानने में विटनेस को थोड़ी सी डिफिकल्टी हो. And still, if the witness identified the accused, then the identification is trustworthy. So write it also. Despite the mix, if the witness identifies the accused, then the identification will be trustworthy. और लिखो. Also, there should not be any specific mark or tag upon the accused at the time of identification. अब मान लो सबको आपने व्हाइट ड्रेस पहना के रख रखा है और अक्यूज को आपने लाल रंग का कुर्ता पहना दिया. मीन्स कोई डिफरेंट कलर अलग से जो बिल्कुल अलग ही लगे सब में, सो ऑब्वियसली ही कैन बी आइडेंटिफाइड. या फिर उसके गले में कुछ लटका दिया, हाथ में कुछ लटका दिया, सो इन दैट वेज ही कैन बी आइडेंटिफाइड वेरी इजीली. तो इसलिए कपड़े भी लगभग मिलते जुलते पहने होने चाहिए, सो दैट देयर शुड बी सम डिफिकल्टी टू आइडेंटिफाई बाय द विटनेस. अब नेक्स्ट पॉइंट लिखो. If the accused has beard, then the identification has to be done twice. अब ये जितने भी दूसरे लेके आओगे आप, जिनमें उसको accused को मिक्स करोगे, वो भी beard वाले होने चाहिए. अगर accused beard वाला है तो others also भी beard वाले. The identification has to be done twice. Number one, with the beard of all visible. मतलब सबका beard दिख रहा है और then you identify. And number 2, with the beard covered. एक बार क्या करोगे आप, beard के साथ सब बारी बारी से आपके सामने आएंगे. And second time you covered the beard of all of them by some cloth or something, so that the original face of that much will be visible. Means the idea is that is the accused is being identified by the witness only on the basis of the beard, or did he actually identify him on the basis of his face? So that has to be taken care of. So beard के साथ सबको identify करवा लो, and then फिर से उनको एक बार परेड कराना पड़ेगा बारी बारी से, and there the beard will be covered by. Now there is no need to have save them obviously, but the beard will be covered by some cloths or handkerchief something, and then you will able to identify by the face only. और अगर दोनों identification same है, both the time the witness identify the same person, then the identification will be trustworthy. By this the guidelines are over. और इसके बाद 3 issues हैं. One is, मान लो accused के पास bail का right है, either the offense is bailable, and if the offense is not bailable, the court finds that bail shall be granted. या तो offense bailable है, और या फिर अगर non bailable है, still court finds that the bail shall be granted. अब bailable में तो bail grant ही करनी पड़ेगी, no one stops you. But अगर non bailable है, then upon hearing the magistrate still grant you bail. And the point is that the investigating officer present before the magistrate and say that please don't grant him bail. अब suppose एक व्यक्ति गिरफ्तार किया, the moment you arrest him, the same very day he applies for the bail. for regular bail, and the magistrate conducts a hearing and finds that the case is fit for granting bail. But the police officer says that don't grant him bail because of TIP is remaining. So simply because TIP has to be conducted, can bail be refused to a person or accused even though otherwise bail should have been granted? Answer is no. तो इसको भी लिख लीजिए आप, ये कुछ एडिशनल पॉइंट्स हैं जो लिखवा रहा हूँ. राइट. If it is found that the case is fit for the ground of bail, but the investigating officer want the bail not to be granted simply because TIP is to be conducted, अब बताओ then the court will give bail or not? या फिर TIP रह रही है तो सिर्फ इस वजह से कोर्ट मना कर देगा बेल के लिए, बिकॉज बेल इज अ मैटर ऑफ लाइफ एंड पर्सनल लिबर्टी. सो सिर्फ इस वजह से कि एक प्रोसीजर इज पेंडिंग. अब ये अलग बात है कि दैट इट इज द ड्यूटी ऑफ द प्रोसिक्यूशन टू गेट द TIP कंडक्टेड एज सून एज पॉसिबल, बट सिंपली बिकॉज ए प्रोसीजर इज पेंडिंग द कोर्ट कैन नॉट रिफ्यूज टू ग्रांट द बेल. बेल तो देना पड़ेगा आपको, because otherwise if it is a matter where the bail has to be granted, then the court will not refuse to give the bail only on the ground that TIP is to be conducted. So right, the court will grant the bail even though the TIP has to be conducted, but the court may issue directions to the accused not to appear in public. और इस बारे में प्रोविजन है CRPC में है, that is section 437 clause 1 proviso number 3 of CRPC, where it is clearly written that simply because of TIP bail cannot be refused. That is section 437 clause 1 proviso 3 of CRPC. So that is one point, and the next point is, suppose that accused is non-cooperative. Accused TIP करवाने के लिए तैयार नहीं हो रहा. He is not cooperating for the TIP. He is not agreeing for the TIP. So can investigating officer obtain an order from the magistrate to direct the accused to cooperate in the conducting of TIP? The answer is yes. If the accused does not cooperate in the TIP, otherwise and even after the order of the magistrate, then that will result into an adverse inference by the trial court against the accused. कोर्ट ये इन्फ्रेंस निकालेगा कि आप TIP में क्यों पार्टिसिपेट नहीं कर रहे हैं. It means that obviously you have committed the offense. So that may result into an adverse inference. The court may raise presumption against the accused. Since he is not cooperating in TIP, you must have committed the offense. तो इसको भी लिख लीजिए आप. Write it. Under section 54A of CRPC, the investigating officer can obtain the permission from the magistrate to direct the accused to cooperate in the TIP. Can obtain the permission from the magistrate to direct the accused to cooperate in the TIP. देखिए पुलिस ऑफिसर जो है वो TIP करने के लिए बाउंड नहीं है. It is the discretion of the police officer whether the TIP be conducted or not. But if the prudent police officer, if he finds that there is an accused who has been arrested, and there is been a witness who is a star witness, who has seen the accused, then obviously any prudent police officer would like to have the TIP conducted, because in the trial this TIP will be used as a piece of evidence to corroborate the testimony given in the court. So they will always go on for the TIP. अगर एक पुलिस ऑफिसर ने TIP नहीं करवाया है, then the court may always at the trial stage may question as to why did he not get the TIP conducted. The trial court may always question that why did he not conducted the TIP, but that is again a not unpardonable wrong by a police officer. At times, police officer finds that TIP के बिना भी that testimony is quite admissible because the accused is seen by the witness quite sufficiently. So in that case, he does not go for the TIP. The issue is that will the police officer when he does not go for the TIP, will the police officer when he wants to go for the TIP, will he require to obtain the permission from the court, या फिर वो बिना कोर्ट के परमिशन के टीआईपी कर सकता है? क्या एक पुलिस ऑफिसर को टीआईपी करवाने के लिए मजिस्ट्रेट का परमिशन लेना पड़ेगा या फिर वो अपनी मर्जी से टीआईपी करवा सकता है? सो आंसर इज मजिस्ट्रेट का परमिशन नहीं लेना पड़ेगा। मजिस्ट्रेट को इन्फॉर्म करना पड़ेगा कि आप टीआईपी के लिए कब फ्री है, कब आ सकते हैं, लेकिन मजिस्ट्रेट के परमिशन की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी बिकॉज एग्जीक्यूटिव बॉडी आईओ हैज टू डू हिज जॉब इंडिपेंडेंट ऑफ जुडिशियरी। तो आईओ किस में आता है? एग्जीक्यूटिव बॉडी में। एंड 54A is not talking about the permission. 54A CRPC applies only when the accused is not cooperating in the TIP. Then the magistrate will pass an order to the accused to participate in the TIP. But otherwise, if the accused is cooperating and the police officer is willing to take the TIP, then he will not require to take the permission from the magistrate. तो ये पॉइंट भी आप लिख लीजिए। The police officer, in order to conduct the TIP, need not obtain any permission from the magistrate. तो ये तो बेसिक पॉइंट्स हो गए। अब एक और पॉइंट लिख लीजिए आप। If the accused does not cooperate in the TIP, then the trial court can draw adverse inference against the accused. Which court can draw adverse inference? Trial court can draw adverse inference against the accused if he does not cooperate in the TIP. अब इसके बाद एक इम्पोर्टेंट पॉइंट है, वैसे इसको मैं रिपीट कर रहा हूँ, समझा चुका। अब मान लो यहाँ पर कोई एक्यूज्ड अरेस्ट हुआ, इसमें कोई आई विटनेस है लेकिन टीआईपी नहीं करवाया गया। देयर इज नो टीआईपी डन, इट इज डायरेक्टली एट द ट्रायल स्टेज आइडेंटिफिकेशन डन बाय द विटनेस in the court. Then this identification, which is directly done in the court, be admissible as a piece of evidence, or simply because there is no TIP done, this testimony will be discarded. फिर से सुनो, TIP not conducted, the accused was identified by the witness directly in the court at the stage of trial, and the question is simply because the TIP was not conducted, then will the testimony of the witness in the court be inadmissible? The answer of this question is no. TIP is an investigation proceeding. TIP is not having anything directly in reference to the trial, excepting that can be used for corroboration purposes. तो अगर TIP नहीं करवाया है, if you not got the TIP done and the witness directly identifies the accused into the court, then simply because not conducting of the TIP, the evidence will not become inadmissible. But yes, the defense may always raise a question mark as to how does the witness so clearly remember the accused at the trial stage. Now in that case, the court will see as to in what circumstances the witness has seen the accused and how much time he had seen the accused, for how much time he had seen the accused, and was there any peculiarity about the accused. वहां पर enough light was present when he saw the accused. How much light was present when he saw the accused? How much duration he has watched the accused? And what is the time gap between the testimony in the court and the incident that held जो इंसिडेंट हुआ था उसमें और जो टेस्टमनी कोर्ट में दिए उसमें कितना टाइम गैप है. So all those things has to be seen, and that will affect the reliability, you can say, and the evidentiary value of the testimony. But as far as the admissibility is concerned, that is not to be affected. मतलब उस कोर्ट उस टेस्टिमनी पे कितना विश्वास करेगा वो अलग बात है, लेकिन वो जो टेस्टिमनी है वो इनएडमिसिबल हो जाएगा ऐसा नहीं होगा. इट इज ऑलवेज एडमिसिबल. कई बार क्या होगा, जैसे आई टेल यू पार्लियामेंट अटैक केस में व्हाट हैपेंड वाज देयर वर सेवरल एक्यूज्ड इन दैट केस. अफजल वाज देयर, शौकत वाज देयर, अब्दुल जलानी वाज देयर who was acquitted later on, and then Afzan Guru was there who was the wife of the Shaukat. Afzal, Shaukat and Afzan Guru and Jilani. Jilani को हटा दो, he was acquitted, but Afzan Guru, Afzal and Shaukat, and then one more person, Muhammad. These four person. So out of these four person, Muhammad was the terrorist who killed. Five terrorists were killed in the parliament. Out of them, one was the head, was the Muhammad. So Muhammad, Afzal, Shaukat and Afzan Guru, these four persons went to a car dealer at Karol Bagh, and they had negotiated with him to purchase a ambassador car, and he has sold that car to them at 40,000 rupees. And at that time, quite sufficient light was available in the office of the dealer, and in that sufficient light, they dealt with the कार डीलर अबाउट 45 मिनट्स. 45 मिनट तक इन लोगों ने कार डीलर से बात करी थी रिगार्डिंग द परचेज ऑफ द कार. सो 45 मिनट्स तक द कार डीलर वाज वाचिंग ऑल दीज फोर पीपल्स. प्लस द peculiarity was that these four people having a Kashmiri accent, that Muhammad is having a Afghan accent. Three members were there and one lady was there, and they all having the Kashmiri accent. So somewhere it is a notable feature. अब दिल्ली में करोल बाग में कोई दिल्ली वाली भाषा ना बोलकर कोई कश्मीरी एक्सेंट में बात कर रहा है, and one of them is talking in Afghan accent. So obviously the person will observe them more carefully, and plus the combination was that there is three men and one more one woman. Plus the combination is something that a person will obviously observe, and also that the duration was 45 minutes approximately, and there was sufficient light. After that, when the incident happened, and then after the incident took place, the charge sheet has filed and trial was started. Within 6 months, they have started the trial. So the time gap between the incident and the trial was not much. It was only 6 months, 7 months. Within this, the trial has started in the case. Now, in that case, no TIP was conducted, and directly the testimony of car dealer was given in the court. As to he identified the Afzal, Shaukat and Afzan Guru, and regarding the Muhammad, he saw the photograph and identified because he was already dead. So he had identified them accused directly in the court. Again, the question here was that there was no TIP conducted. Then is the testimony admissible? The answer is yes. The court observed that the time gap was not much. The time duration for which he saw is sufficient enough. The 45 minutes is sufficient enough time to remember a person or persons, and then there is sufficient light at the time when the negotiation went on. Plus, it is negotiation about the car. So, this person who sold the car well remember the purchaser, etc. And therefore, for non-conducting of the TIP will not render the court testimony inadmissible, number one. And in this case, it will not even affect the evidentiary value of the testimony made in the court. So the identification is perfectly established. So write it down. The non-conducting of TIP in itself is not a ground for rendering the court identification inadmissible, or rendering the court identification inadmissible. The court will, however, in order to examine the trustworthiness of testimony, see the time gap between the incident and trial. ठीक है, so testimony, see the time gap between what? Between the incident and trial, comma, the duration for which the witness had seen the accused, comma, the sufficiency of light which was available when the witness saw the accused, the sufficiency of light at the time when the witness saw the accused, comma, any peculiar features about the accused, etc. If the court finds all these circumstances to be favorable, the court identification will be considered totally reliable even though no TIP was conducted. अब एक और सेंटेंस देखो. However, if these circumstances are not sufficient, then the court testimony will still be admissible, but the evidentiary value will get diminished, means go down. Fine. मतलब जो कोर्ट में आपने बयान दिया है वो तो एडमिसिबल होगा, मतलब सिर्फ इस वजह से कि आपने टीआईपी नहीं किया तो उस बयान को आप इनएडमिसिबल नहीं करेंगे, लेकिन अगर आपने सफिशिएंट टाइम के लिए उसको नहीं देखा था, ज्यादा दूरी से देखा था, देन द टाइम गैप बिटवीन द ट्रायल एंड द इंसिडेंट इज हाई, द लाइट वाज नॉट सफिशिएंट एक्सेट्रा, then the value, the reliability of testimony may get diminished. अब एक केस लिखिएगा इस पर on the same point, मच्छी सिंह वर्सेस स्टेट ऑफ पंजाब 1983 सुप्रीम कोर्ट. अब इस केस में क्या हुआ था? इट इज अ केस ऑफ डकैती. कुछ डकैत एक विलेज में गए एंड दे हैव बीन स्टैंडिंग इन द विलेज and they were robbing the people in the night. Now it was dark in the night. उनमें से one of the dacoit, the head leader, he was standing in the room. So he was seen by the witness in the room, and there was a lantern in the room. Now the light of the lantern will be a very dim light. A witness was hiding somewhere. From there, for some time, for few minutes, he saw the accused moving in the room, and he could also see the face of the accused. Now at the trial, when this witness identified the accused, the question was raised by the defense that how can the identification be reliable, because in the light of the lantern he saw the accused, and that is not a sufficient enough light. The court said that these matters are very practical matters, and you have to look upon the overall circumstances, and the court held in this case that the eyes of the villager, अभी जजमेंट 1983 का है तो मीन्स द केस हेल्ड बिफोर दैट, जो इंसिडेंट है वो उससे पहले हुआ होगा. अब एट दैट टाइम द इलेक्ट्रिसिटी वाज नॉट देयर इन ऑल विलेजेस. अब एट दैट टाइम द मोस्ट ऑफ द विलेजेस इन इंडिया आर रिलाइंग अपॉन द lanterns only. Now the court held in this case that the villager who stays in the village, their eyes are adjusted to seeing things in the light of the lantern also, and his sight cannot be compared to the sight of a person who is living in the city. So a person living in the city, if he goes to the village, he is not able to see as much in the light of the lantern as the person living in village can see, and therefore the court held for a villager that much light is sufficient enough to be able to see the accused, and therefore the court gives the evidentiary value to the accused statement. So by this case I just told you the practical situation wherein आपकी आंखें एक लैंटर्न की रोशनी में कितना देख सकती हैं वो भी देखा जाएगा. आप अगर शहर के रहने वाले हो तो लैंटर्न की रोशनी में इतना नहीं देख पाओगे, लेकिन गांव में रहने वाला व्यक्ति जो रोज शाम को अंधेरा होने के बाद लैंटर्न की रोशनी में ही सब कुछ देखता है वो ज्यादा क्लियरली देख सकता है. इसीलिए उसकी टेस्टिमनी पर विश्वास करना उचित होगा। हिज टेस्टिमनी इज रिलायबल। अब इसमें एक और केस लिखो, जस्ट इन ऑर्डर टू साइड द केस। Whatever we have just discussed is also discussed in this case also. This is Munshi Singh Gautam versus State of Madhya Pradesh MP. That is 2005 Supreme Court. So जो guidelines हमने देखी थी, many of them are dictated from this case also. तो अगर आपको लैंडमार्क जजमेंट साइट करना हो तो मच्छी सिंह कर सकते हो या मुंशी सिंह गौतम कर सकते हो। अब एक और केस लिख लो आप, दिस इज नॉट लैंडमार्क बट यू कैन साइट इट, दैट इज मलखान सिंह वर्सेस स्टेट ऑफ एमपी 2003 सुप्रीम कोर्ट। अब ये मलखान सिंह वो डाकू मलखान सिंह नहीं है, दैट इज अनदर पर्सन। अब इन दिस केस a girl was raped by 3 persons successively in dark in the evening time because of the darkest, अब टोटल डार्क नहीं था उस टाइम पे, these 3 person caught hold of her and successively they raped her. अब in this case there was no TIP, she directly identified them in the court. अब again the question was raised as how can she identify, because almost dark was there at that time. Now in this case the court clearly held that in the act of rape, the person who is committing that act, he is so close to the victim that she can very clearly see him even if it is dark, even if it is slightly dark, she can very clearly see him and recognize him for a long time because of the trauma she had suffered and the period for which this act has been done, that is sufficient enough to give the testimony and that is considered to be reliable. समझ में आया? रेप के समय the person who commits the rape is very close to the victim and she can very clearly see him even if it is dark, she can see him, and the duration for which the act is done, that is sufficient enough to make the victim to remember the accused for a long time. And it is also because she had suffered the trauma because of that man. So because of that also she can remember him for a long time. Therefore, the testimony could be considered to be reliable. अब एक लास्ट पॉइंट है, ध्यान से सुनिएगा। मान लो इस स्टेज पर टीआईपी हुआ, द विटनेस आइडेंटिफाइड द एक्यूज्ड। नाउ आफ्टर दैट, क्योंकि जब आप आइडेंटिफाई करते हो सिर्फ आइडेंटिफाई नहीं करते, आइडेंटिफिकेशन तो एक बात रही, आप पूरी कहानी भी तो बताते हो। सपोज आई सीन एक्यूज्ड कमिटिंग एन ऑफेंस, अब ठीक है टीआईपी में आई विल आइडेंटिफाई, बट व्हेन आई मेड माय स्टेटमेंट टू द पुलिस आई आल्सो मेक टेल द स्टोरी आल्सो, और maybe at the before the magistrate I tell the entire story and identify the accused also. Now in the trial, suppose this witness retracts. He says that I am not able to identify. जबकि वही accused कोर्ट में खड़ा है और विटनेस कह रहा है कि मैं इसको नहीं पहचान सकता, हो सकता है उसको पैसे दे दिए हों, हो सकता है वो डर गया हो, whatever may be the reasons, but he retracts. अब what will be the effect of such retraction? क्योंकि जब वो रिट्रैक्ट करेगा तो आपको ध्यान से समझना पड़ेगा, when he retracts he will also tells the story. अब कई बार क्या होगा कि witness will tell the entire circumstance that this happened and this happened. अब लास्ट में when the question came that is that accused present in this room and he says that no I am not able to identify, मुझे नहीं दिख रहा, so means what? स्टोरी तो पूरा बताया उसने, the story he has told is the entire story, but he is refusing to identify the accused, and there is no reason why he is refusing to identify the accused. Now in such a case what the court will do is the court will use the previous statement, TIP wala statement, and it will contradict his retraction in the court and will still admit the identification. अब that is a very important thing. कोर्ट क्या करेगा उसमें कि तुमने पहले जो कहा था और अब जो कह रहे हो, पहले तो तुमने आइडेंटिफाई किया था और अब तुम आइडेंटिफाई करने से मना कर रहे हो। अब क्यों मना कर रहे हो? उसका कोई राइवल रीजन है नहीं। मीन्स विदाउट एनी रीजन यू आर रिफ्यूजिंग टू आइडेंटिफाई हिम। तो कोर्ट आपके प्रीवियस स्टेटमेंट से जो प्रेजेंट आप रिट्रैक्शन कर रहे हो उसको कॉन्ट्राडिक्ट कर देगा एंड स्टिल टेक द आइडेंटिफिकेशन एज एन substantive piece of evidence, provided that the rest of the story that the witness has told is in keeping with the circumstantial evidence। मतलब वो जो कह रहा है वो सच कह रहा है, सिर्फ आइडेंटिफिकेशन से मना कर रहा है। अब वो जो कह रहा है सच कह रहा है, कोर्ट कैसे पता पड़ी करेगी? सर्कमस्टेंशियल एविडेंस से प्रूफ हो जाएगा कि भाई उसकी स्टोरी मैच हो रही है कि नहीं हो रही। तो वो जो कह रहा है, जो वो सच कह रहा है और सिर्फ वो आइडेंटिफिकेशन से रिट्रैक्ट कर रहा है, मना कर रहा है, तो कोर्ट वैसे केसेस में जो उसका टीआईपी है उसको यूज करके उसके रिट्रैक्शन वाले आइडेंटिफिकेशन को कॉन्ट्राडिक्ट करेगा एंड द कोर्ट विल स्टिल डीम दैट द witnesses has identified the accused। So, but this thing is done very rarely by the court. That is done very rarely, but court can always can do. Otherwise, when you retract totality in totality, that I have not seen anything, I don't have any idea, then in that case the TIP is not a substantive piece of evidence. In that case, the TIP will not be used for identification. But if you are not retracting in totality, but if you are making statements and these statements are in keeping with the circumstantial evidence, you are telling the story and that is in keeping of the circumstantial evidence, and the only thing that you are refusing to identify, then in that case now it is something practically, ये आपको बुक्स में नहीं मिलेगा, ये आपको कोर्ट में ही मिलेगा प्रैक्टिकली देखोगे तो। Now in that case the what the magistrate will do is, if the rest of the story is complete or TIP में he has identified and there is no doubt upon the TIP, if the court will use that previous statement, the court will use his previous statement to contradict his present retraction from identification and deemed that he has identified the accused and take that the accused is identified by the witness. So, but that is the rare thing that court will do. Otherwise, normally your answer will be, अगर वो retraction कर जाए, then his testimony TIP is not a substantive piece of evidence and therefore that will not be admissible. So write it down. If the witness after the TIP at the trial stage, if the witness after the TIP at the trial stage refuses to identify the accused, then the court will not admit the TIP as an evidence of identification if the court finds that there is a complete retraction by the witness, and in such a case the TIP cannot be considered to be a substantive piece of evidence and therefore the TIP is not admissible. However, if after the TIP at the trial stage the witness tells the entire story of the incident and the story is in keeping with the circumstantial evidences, but he refuses to identify the accused, then if the court finds that the TIP is trustworthy and there is no justifiable reason for the witness not to identify the accused in the court, the court can contradict the witness retraction on the basis of his earlier identification and still admit the fact on the basis of TIP that the witness has identified the accused। मतलब इसमें एक छोटा सा पॉइंट है, अगर आपने पहले आइडेंटिफाई किया था तो TIP सब्सटेंटिव पीस ऑफ एविडेंस तो नहीं है, नो डाउट्स, तो TIP को डायरेक्टली तो एडमिसिबल नहीं करोगे आप। लेकिन अगर कोर्ट में जाकर आप रिट्रैक्ट करते हो और कहते हो कि मैं नहीं पहचान सकता, तो उसका कोई रीजन होना चाहिए कि पहले आपने TIP में कैसे आइडेंटिफाई किया और अब आप कोर्ट में आके कह रहे हो कि मैं नहीं पहचान सकता। तो वहां पे आप प्रूव करो कि मैंने उस समय कंफ्यूजन में पहचान लिया था, आप प्रूफ करो कि उस समय मुझे डरा धमका कर पहचान कराई गई थी, एक्सेट्रा, तब तो इट इज ट्रस्टवर्दी। अदरवाइज व्हाट द कोर्ट विल डू इज दैट वी आर थिंग्स लेटर ऑन, जब आप 162 CRPC पढ़ोगे, देयर contradiction that I said something earlier and today I am retrieving from it. So my silence amounts to a statement that whatever I said earlier that can be used to contradict by my implied statements from my silence. So whatever I said earlier that can be used to contradict my implied statement that I am making today, implied statement through my silence. तो उस तरीके का कॉन्ट्राडिक्शन करके द कोर्ट कैन स्टिल use my TIP. Mind you that court is not using the TIP as a substantive piece of evidence. Court is just contradicting your present silence by the TIP, and then it is deeming that you are identifying the accused. और इसमें ये भी लिख लो एक सेंटेंस that this will be done in very exceptional cases. This will be done in very exceptional cases. अब ये आपको 100% समझ में नहीं आएगा अगर आपने 162 CRPC नहीं पढ़ा होगा. So by this we get over with the TIP, and that's it for this lecture, and thank you for watching lecture.